Is this war over right now? Are assets going to go to the moon? Everything is pumping right now.
His core thesis, stated across dozens of essays and hundreds of hours of interviews, compresses into 5 words. Money printing is good for Bitcoin.
Well, that is exactly what has taken place overnight.
Bitcoin just broke $72,000. A ceasefire was announced and the market exploded. But here's the thing nobody's asking. What happens when the ceasefire falls apart?
So Donald Trump did not follow through on his threats yesterday that he was going to bombard Iran back to the Stone Age and end their civilization. Instead, a ceasefire was announced. And what does this mean, guys? Because I see that there's a lot of misunderstandings in regards to the ceasefire. Is this war over right now? Are assets going to go to the moon? Everything is pumping right now. Well, I need to look at what's actually happening behind the scenes right now, what we need to pay attention to.
Okay, so we have a ceasefire, but 68% of people don't think it's going to last. And honestly, they might be right.
The US announced a 2-week ceasefire, and consequently we saw the markets react and bounce towards the upside. Is it enough? That's the question. Is it enough to reverse the trends? That's what we'll discuss in today's video. Smash the like button and make sure you vote on the poll. The poll's right over here. Will the ceasefire pump last? Well, 68% of you don't believe so. You think that will be broken within 2 weeks, right? Because there's a 2-week ceasefire that's currently going on. We'll discuss this and more. You have 21% of you that believe that the low is in. In today's video, I'll show you what I'm looking at in terms of being convinced that this is serious and there will be massive de-escalation and everything will return back to normal. Unfortunately, I'll just basically give you a bit of a spoiler alert.
The bears have a real argument here, but here's what they're missing. Bitcoin doesn't need peace to go up. It just needs uncertainty.
It's been the shining light over the Iran conflict. I mean, stocks are down. You see bonds going down. You see gold going down. Bitcoin has been flat to slightly up. And I don't know if you can take a victory lap in the sense of over the last year, it's been the opposite. Bitcoin's been down and those assets have been up. But I do think that people are saying to themselves, well, I thought that Bitcoin was supposed to just be kind of beta to the rest of these risk assets. And so if everything else is selling off, why is Bitcoin not selling off? And so I do think that there's a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel for Bitcoin investors who have been taking a couple of beatings.
Do you think this was just a Bitcoin winter and we're now in some kind of pseudo summer?
I think that volatility has significantly compressed in Bitcoin. It was, an 80, 90 vol asset. Now it's like a 40 vol asset. It drew down 50%. That's kind of what you would expect in that kind of volatility environment. And I think that there's just a lot of people who hold Bitcoin who say, look, I like it at $60,000+, and the geopolitical uncertainty and chaos actually makes me want to own more Bitcoin rather than less because this thing is neutral and isn't subject to any one country.
And you can say that Bitcoin is just a risk asset, but the data through geopolitical events historically say otherwise. Bitcoin continues to be the strongest asset during times of uncertainty.
And the charts are backing this up. The bearish setup everyone was watching just got destroyed.
As you can see right here, Bitcoin has rallied up to approximately $72,500. We have been discussing at length a major and very important bearish setup that Bitcoin has been building. That bearish setup, we said in yesterday's live stream right here on Coffee and Crypto, would be invalidated if Donald Trump was positioning the United States for some kind of ceasefire. We said the only way that we can see Bitcoin actually managing to break above the 20 DEMA and above this uptrending level of resistance would be a ceasefire or some kind of peace deal coming between the United States and the nation of Iran. Well, that is exactly what has taken place overnight.
But if we see this Monday high claimed here very shortly, meaning we start closing up above this 70,300. I think it's very likely that we actually get a very quick move up to about 75,000. Now, this is a high time frame average. This is a target that is going to be really relevant for this entire quarter. So I really want to point out that it is possible to get a move to that level, and it's possible to get it very, very fast.
75,000 is the next target. But the real story isn't the ceasefire. It's what comes after.
He built his reputation over a decade by linking Bitcoin's price not to halving cycles or retail sentiment or Twitter momentum, but to one variable above all others: the cost and availability of money in the global financial system. His core thesis, stated across dozens of essays and hundreds of hours of interviews, compresses into 5 words: money printing is good for Bitcoin. The iOS warfare essay argues that the Iran war, which began on February 28th with the US-Israeli Operation Epic Fury, has just triggered a historical sequence that ends in money printing. and therefore ends in Bitcoin.
War or peace, it doesn't matter. The money printer always wins, and Bitcoin is the only exit. Subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow.